Size matters. When it comes to blades. Hiyo! Welcome back to BrowTab BSchool, a channel where we focus on growing your brow fit. I'm Alex. I am the girl, the artist, educator behind BrowTab BSchool and this YouTube channel. If you like what you see here today, please like and subscribe. I am working on growing this channel so I can spend more time making content like this for y'all. If you want to help me grow even more, take a screenshot of this video and post it to your social media. Okay, so let's get down to it. Today we are talking about microblade sizes. There are three main topics that we're going to discuss today when it comes down to blade size. The first is blade size itself, aka pin count. 2, diameter. And number 3, blade style. Stay till the end because I'm going to share a little insight on which blades to use for which skin types and which type of client. Okay, so number 1 is blade size. So what does that mean? It means that when a blade is listed as a 14, as you can see here, that it is a size 14 blade. So the size is 14, but what does that mean? It means that there are 14 pins in a row in this blade. So when you look real closely at a microblade, which you should be doing when you open a blade every time you're about to work on a client, you will see that a microblade is not a knife. It's not a blade like a scalpel would be. It's actually made up of tiny little round pins all placed in a row to make it into a blade. So this blade specifically, this is a 14C Ultra Nano blade, has 14 tiny little pins in a row to make up this blade. So that being said, if you have a blade that is a size 9, it means there's 9 pins. If you have a blade that's a size 18, it means there's 18 pins. You get the picture. So how does it work? Each one of these pins, all 14 of these pins in this 14 blade, are dragged or flicked through the skin as you're making your stroke, depositing. So the amount of pins in a blade will affect the size of the actual blade. This is not the only factor that will affect the size of the blade. We'll get to this in topic number 2 when we talk about diameter, but right now we're only talking size. So diameter aside, if you were to compare the 14C blade that we've been looking at this whole time compared to an 18U blade, you will see that the 14C is smaller than the 18U because 14 is a smaller number than 18, so it has less pins. So that's it for blade size. Labeled on your actual microblade, it is the number listed. Next up, diameter. Diameter is the measure directly across a circle. So from one edge of a circle directly across to the other edge of the circle is considered a diameter. So why is this math relevant to microblading? Because, like we said, microblades are made up of pins, round little pins, round little needles, and each one of these round little needles is a circle and has a diameter. The larger the diameter, the larger the pin. The smaller the diameter, the smaller the pin. So as I said before, and I said I'd explain it, diameter can also affect the size of your blade. Why? Because the size of the diameter affects the size of the blade. So for example, let's compare these two blades right here. You can see that they're very different in size. This one is obviously much smaller than this one. But if you were to look at the label of these blades, they are both a 14C blade. So they both have 14 pins that make up this microblade. Now, why are they obviously so different in size? Well, it all comes down to the diameter. So the diameter of all of the pins that make up this blade are 0.25 millimeters, whereas the diameter that make up all the pins in this blade are 0.16 millimeters. So that is a big difference when we're talking millimeters. So that's how diameter can also affect the size of your blade. There is a time and a place for every blade, but generally speaking, the thinner the blade, the less trauma to the skin, the crisper the stroke, the cleaner the healed results. What are you talking about? So the thinner the blade, the thinner the diameter of the blade, the less trauma is created to the skin, because as we make the stroke in the skin, we're actually opening less of the skin. We're creating a thinner channel. So less trauma to the skin creates crisper strokes, and with proper aftercare, it gives you cleaner healed results. And that's why BrowTab Ultra Nano Blades are so amazing, because they are so fine, their diameters are so small, they cause the least amount of trauma to the skin, give you those crisp results and clean healed results. But back on track with number 3 is blade style. Now, this isn't exactly referring to blade size, but is referring to the shape of the actual blade. There are 2 main styles of microblades. Curved blades, also known as slant blades, and U-blades. Curved blades look like this, almost like half of the curved part of the letter D, whereas U-blades look like an upside down U. If you hold it this way, like an upright U. So one blade style is not better than the other. Not one is right or wrong. It's all about what feels good in your hand. Want to bust a myth? So there is a myth out there that U-blades are considered an advanced blade, and I don't believe that's true. This was something I was told in my first microblading course over 6 years ago, and I still hear artists talk about it. I still have new artists ask me about it, and honestly, I believe that it's a myth. There is no reason why U-blade should be considered an advanced blade. It's simply just a different style of blade. So if you learned with a curved blade first, a U-blade would feel different. But if you learned with a U-blade first, a curved blade would feel different. All you need to do is, before using either style of these blades on a client, to practice with them first, to get a feel for how you hold them, because you will hold each blade a little bit differently. With a curved blade, when you're making your stroke, all pins need to be touching and pulling through the skin at once with each and every stroke. Whereas with a U-blade, you are going to hold the blade more upright and work from the center pin and pull half of the pins through, working from the center of the blade. It's just simply a different hold and a different way to pull the blade through the skin. Once again, not one is right or wrong or better or worse. It's just all about what feels good to you. Want to keep rolling with these myths? Another myth is that U-blades allow you to make more curved, natural looking strokes than a curved blade would. This is definitely not true. Yes, U-blades can allow you to make beautiful, natural, curved strokes, but you can also do this with a curved blade. So where does this myth come from? It comes from old school microblading, where a lot of curved blades were considered hard blades. So the difference between a hard blade and a flexi blade, these are our 14Cs again, are that a hard blade is wrapped in metal and a flexi blade is wrapped in PVC plastic. So you can see if you push on a hard blade, it doesn't really flex in the pen, whereas if you push on a flexi blade, you can see that it will bend a little bit, it will flex in the pen. So why is this relevant to U-blades making better curved strokes? Because back in the day, most curved blades were hard blades and U-blades were a newer design, and they were flexi blades. So they were easier to curve with than a hard blade, which is still true, but now curved blades come as flexi blades too. If you're like me and curved blades are your jam, don't think you're missing out on making beautiful curved strokes. You can still make them with a curved flexi blade. So that's it. That's all you need to know when it comes to blade size and style. So if you're looking at your microblade packaging, the number is the size, the measurement in millimeters is the diameter, and the C or U is if it's a curved blade or a U blade. Now, as promised, a little bonus: what blade size is best for what skin type, what client? I said it before, I'll say it again: the thinner the blade, the less trauma to the skin, the crisper the stroke, the cleaner the healed result. So that being said, nano and ultra nano blades are going to be your best friends. These blades are 0.16 millimeters and 0.18 millimeters in diameter. So there are 3 skin types, 3 clients that we are going to talk about: mature skin, normal skin, and oily skin. Mature skin. Yes, you can microblade mature skin. I made a whole video talking about this, busting some myths. So if you haven't watched it yet, go check it out and then come back and finish this video. With mature skin, you will always, always, always be using an ultra nano blade. Mature skin is thinner skin. Skin thins itself out as we age. This is totally normal. So we always want to be causing the least amount of trauma to all skin, especially thinner skin, mature skin, so we're always going to be using an ultra nano blade. Normal skin, so with this skin type, it's dealer's choice. Pick your favorite blade. Choose what blade feels right for you that day, what blade feels right for that client, what blade feels right to match the style of brows they want, the density of their natural brow hair. Or you can simply just choose your favorite blade. It's still best to always cause the least amount of trauma, so you should try to choose at least a nano blade to get those crisp, healed results. Oily skin. Yes, you can microblade oily skin, you just have to make some slight adjustments. Use a bit of a thicker blade. Place your strokes a little further apart. Have your clients apply their aftercare balm less often than you would with a normal skin or dry skin client. Warn this client that with oily skin, they may not have as great of retention as a client who has normal or dry skin, and that they may have to come in for touch-ups more often. The key is to be upfront. So we use a bit of a thicker blade to deposit more pigment into these strokes. So be reaching for your nano blade, your 0.18 millimeter blade, or up to a 0.2 millimeter blade. So that's all, y'all. If you like this video all about blade size, please leave me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I put out new videos every second Wednesday.